find visions of a gloriously bloody battle, a war band of unmade cultists leave Shaiish for the untamed wilds of Gur. As they wreak havoc across the land, they draw the eye of Sigmar and the wrath of his forces. Will the visions of these unmade come to pass as truth, or will the Stormcast Eternals put an end to their slaughter once and for all? Welcome to Mountainside Tabletop.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for joining us for our very first Warcry Battle Report. Today, I'm going to be playing with an unmade warband. My warband will be made up of one blissful one, who will act as my leader, one joyous one, 3 ascended ones, 3 awakened ones with brutal polearms, and 1 awakened one with a flail and a dagger. I'm feeling pretty good about these guys, but they are pretty swingy. They have very low regular damage and very high crit damage, and a couple of their abilities really require lucky dice rolls to be effective. So I'm hoping for some hot dice tonight.
Hey everyone, Vic here. I'm going to be playing everyone's favorite fantasy space marines, the Stormcast Eternals, particularly of the Thunderstrike persuasion. My team is composed of 2 Annihilators, 1 Vindictor, Praetor, and Gryph-hound. My warband will be led by a Knight Arcanum. I'm hoping that my team can make up for slow movement and low unit count with huge wounds, massive toughness, and some pretty devastating abilities.
We're going to forego the Games Workshop terrain cards here and set up our own battlefield. It will consist of 1 gigantic fossilized skeleton in the center of the remains of a burnt-out woodland village. A network of walkways and platforms, as well as a couple of small trees and plants, will round out the terrain. We roll for priority, which Vic wins. So, we both separate our troops into hammer, shield, and dagger groups. We've drawn the Decapitate deployment and Assassinate as our victory condition.
Since I won the roll-off, I'll choose the red deployment zones and to be the defender. This means that Brad is tasked with taking down my shifty 30 wounds Knight Arcanum. All I have to do is keep her protected for 4 rounds and keep her more than 4 inches away from the battlefield edge.
If I can't kill her by the end of battle round 4, the game's over and I lose. Our twist is Winds of Fate, which means we will roll 7 dice at the beginning of each turn in the hero phase, instead of 6. And with all that paperwork out of the way, turn 1 begins.
Alright, we both roll off. Brad gets double 6s and then a whole bunch of single dice. I get triple 5s, double 2s, and 3 singles.
Yeah, you might have noticed here that Vic rolled 8 dice instead of 7. Fortunately for us, and spoiler alert, it really had literally no effect on the outcome of the game, but that's an oops. We're trying our best to learn how to count to 7 for next time.
The number of the day is 7!
Brad banks his wild dice, and I upgrade to a quadruple 5. Pretty aggressive for the first turn, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I can't take out Vic's leader from the other side of the map, so I better get moving. I start off by moving ahead my joyous one.
Alright, I'm going to move my Annihilator partway down the bridge towards the skull to try to start cutting off some angles.
I'm just going to go ahead and keep moving up.
At this point, I'm going to move my leader up onto the roof of this burnt-out house, just trying to restrict Brad's options and give myself as many as possible later on.
I move again.
I move this big man with a broken shield up into this small passage in the front of the map, hoping to just cut it off and make Brad have to take a long way around.
Alright, I'm up next, and I'm going to activate this Ascended Naruto-looking guy, and I'm going to use my double 6s to use the rush ability just to get a little extra movement. Like I said, I can't kill the leader if I can't get to the leader, so I gotta get moving.
Well, I was hoping that Brad was going to put himself into a situation where I could use Rampage and just get a free kill in the first turn. Obviously that hasn't happened, so I'm already wasting quads, and my Praetor is just going to wait and stay in position to block any sort of flank attacks on my leader.
And not much else to do here, so I'm just going to keep moving up my models.
Obviously that was a pretty quiet round, with both of us just moving into some better positions. I really hoped that my aggressive dice play would work out, but I never really got a chance to use the quad without weakening myself pretty substantially.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a quiet turning point. I did my best to try and block as many of the escape routes that the Stormcast leader had, and I think I did a pretty decent job. Alright, top of turn 2, into the hero phase, and we make our rolls. I roll a double 1, a double 5, and single 2, 3, 4s. Vic rolls a double 1, a double 4, and single 2, 3, 5s. We're tied with singles, so we roll off for initiative, and Vic wins. Vic uses a wild dice to make double 5s, and I use a wild dice to make double 4s.
Our reserves now come into the battle, mine at the front edge of the battlefield, and Brad's sneaking into the back corner. Alright, with my first activation, my leader is going to use the double 5s for Bolt from the Heavens on Brad's leader. I do 3 damage for every 4 or higher that I roll. It's pretty good. 9 damage goes through. Now I'm going to wait for the rest of my activation.
Oof, not looking good. My leader is one of my heaviest hitting units, and I really don't want to lose her this early. Well, she's going to take her turn next, move up toward Vic's leader, and attack. To start things off, I'll activate the Onslaught ability with my double 4s. Hitting on 5s? No hits.
Alright, now my knight's going to use the rest of her activation to retaliate with Valedictor's Staff. Looking for 4s, get an absolutely terrible roll, and no hits go through.
Now, I'm going to move one of my Ascended ones up onto the nose of the giant skull, and then use my double 5s to activate Chain Garrote. I deal 5 damage on a 5 or a 6, 1 damage on a 3 or a 4, or no damage on a 1 or a 2. I roll, and I whiff.
Alright, now I'm going to move this big Annihilator down onto the nose to attack that Ascended one. Looking for 3s, I get 2 hits, so 4 damage goes through.
Alright, I use my last double here to activate Rush with the Joyous one, and I just move up for some better positioning.
So I'm pretty scared of Brad's unit with the Chain Whip. It's one of his only ones that has any range at all, so my Gryph-hound now turns around, charges, and attacks. I use my double 1s for Onslaught. I'm looking for 3s to hit. 2 hits go through for 4 wounds.
Alright, next up, Naruto disengages and moves to the platform by the big house.
I'm pretty worried about Brad's 2 units coming from the back of the battlefield, so I move my Vindictor using the last double I have to buff his move and block off the angle underneath the bridge.
Alright, I'll move my Ascended one with this Trident to the bottom of the nose.
Tridents have 3 tines.
It does have 3. Where is it? Look at that little one in the middle.
Oh, that's a bident.
No, man, look at that. You're gonna shame that little bit there?
I am. For the rest of the turn, we just move up our remaining units that are out of range into better positions.
At this point, we're mostly just getting into position for a heavy-hitting turn 3. It's hard to believe that we're 2 full rounds down here and nobody has had any casualties yet. Vic has scored some good damage in on my best unit, but I'm starting to close in and I'm severely limiting his ability to run away.
I was afraid of spreading myself too thin by chasing meaningless units around the board, and it looks like I've definitely started to do exactly that. I'll need some good defense going forward and can hopefully be helped out by some whiffs from Brad. Another thing that would really help me out would be if you subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and shared this video.
Hey, you guys want to see my video?
Alright, top of battle round 3, into the hero phase, and we both roll off. Brad gets double 5, double 6, double 4, and a single 2. I get triple 3s, triple 4s, and a single 1. I use my wild dice to make a quadruple 3, and Brad uses his to secure initiative.
All right, I'm really happy to have initiative here. I'm gonna activate my Blissful One first, my leader, and also use my double 4s to activate Barbed Strike. That means that if I score either a normal or critical hit during an attack action with this unit before the end of the turn, I lower the target's toughness by 1, and it stacks. Very strong considering one of the biggest strengths of the Stormcast is their toughness. Hitting on 5s, 8 damage. And second attack, this time hitting on 4s, 14 damage. That's a total of 22 damage over both of these attacks, bringing Vic's leader down to only 8 wounds. And on top of that, for the rest of the battle round, Vic's leader has their toughness reduced to 3.
Oh man, that was brutal. I was not expecting any of Brad's units to deal 22 damage in one activation. While I'm basically forced to use my Praetor's Soulforged Guardians ability, I use my triple 4s, which heals my leader for 4 and will inflict D3 damage onto the Praetor. Luckily, I roll a 1 and only take 1 damage. I'm now going to wait the rest of my activation because I'm probably going to have to do the same thing again later.
Next up, this Ascended one is going to use Chain Garrote on Vic's leader. Using my double 6s, I roll a 6, doing 6 damage. Nice. Next, I disengage and climb up this wall.
Oh man, Brad was not kidding when he said that this was a swingy team. My Vindictor now moves to hit Naruto, looking for 4s and only 1 hit goes through. Only deal 2 damage. Gonna need a lot more than that.
Now I move twice with my Joyous one.
I knew it was a blunder to move my Annihilator off that bridge, so now I'm kinda just stuck moving back and sandwiching in the Joyous one. I attack and only 1 hit goes through for 2 wounds. Fantastic.
Now, time for another Chain Garrote, from Naruto this time. But only 1 damage goes through. Vic's leader is down to 5.
Alright, so I'm hoping that my Gryph-hound can take out 2 units here, which is pretty optimistic. I do my first attack on this awakened one with a flail. Only 1 hit goes through, so unfortunately I need to spend my second attack to finish him off. Was really hoping to do more damage than that.
Next, just some more advancing.
Alright, now this big Annihilator with a broken shield is going to attack Brad's unit with a hooked flail. Looking for 3s here. Luckily 2 hits go through, but I really could have used some crits there.
Alright, well I disengage with that same unit and move up to the nose of the skull.
Alright, now the last thing for me to do in this turn, my Praetor uses the rest of his activation to heal the leader up to 3 more wounds. Luckily I roll another 1 and only take 1 more wound.
And now, to round off this battle round, I move up my final 2 plebeians to a position where I can hopefully maybe scale the house and get some hits in if needed.
Alright, end of the 3rd turn, and this is obviously threat level midnight for me. I was not expecting to take 22 wounds from 1 activation of Brad's leader, and now it looks like I've lost the luxury of any tankiness I had before. I'm going to need to be extremely careful and get extremely lucky if I'm to survive this one. Feels like my undefeated streak is coming to an end.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I got really lucky there with that 1 attack roll, and I think I've set myself up very well to take the game in battle round number 4.
Alright, time for an extremely pivotal roll-off. Well, I think that roll is probably best case scenario for me. I more or less secure the initiative and have a triple that I can hopefully do something with. I don't know. Brad rolls triple 1s, double 5s, and a 4 and a 6. With the initiative, I turn my triple into a quad because I really cannot deal with Brad getting the initiative in this turn.
I did for a moment consider trying to use both of my wild dice to force a roll off for initiative, but I just didn't want to waste 2 wild dice for the chance to maybe get initiative. I decided to use them for benefits that are a little more concrete. I turn these triple 1s into a quadruple, and I double my roll of 6.
Alright, well, not much left to do here other than pray I don't die. My Praetor heals my leader for 5 using my quad, and then I double attack Brad's awakened one with a scimitar. Luckily, I kill him, and that's one less threat I have to worry about, but I've still got his biggest one right beside me.
Yep, I'm gonna activate my leader next. I could use my quad once to activate Gift of Agony here. It would give my leader the ability to make a bonus attack action with a +1 bonus to her strength and attacks characteristic. But I decided I was too scared of whiffing here. Maybe a misplay, but instead I'm going to use my double 5s to activate Barbed Strike. Hitting on 5s, I deal 4 wounds and lower the leader's toughness by 1. And then, in what some may consider to be a wild move, I disengage from Vic's leader and run off the side of the house, taking 1 fall damage in the process. Now, looking at this move from the outside, you might be thinking, this is absolutely ridiculous, what are you doing? But my thought process was this. There is very limited space for any of my other models to get into range to attack Vic's leader. If I whiff on this next attack, and I would need pretty good rolls, then I basically just lose the game. Nobody else can get into range and finish off the leader. So I decide to make room for other models to charge in and finish the job. I have already lowered the leader's toughness by 1.
I have to say that was pretty unexpected. I was definitely thinking that Brad was just going to use both attacks and try to finish me off right there. Honestly, fair play to Brad. That was a great move. I didn't see it, and with my tiny brain, I definitely would have just smashed my head against the door until either it broke or I lost. So now I don't really have much choice of what to do. I need to move back and then use my Tome of Secrets attack on Naruto, hoping that I can either get 2 crits and kill him, or get 1 crit and knock him off the platform so that I won't have to deal with his attacks coming next. I score a crit, but unfortunately, Brad saved the falling check, and now I'm just sitting here in the crosshairs.
Naruto's gonna return the favor, using the quad 1s to activate Rampage, and then dealing 3 attacks worth of damage. Hitting on 4s. And when all is said and done, I deal enough damage. Vic's leader is slain, and the battle is over. I finally won a game of something on this channel.
To recap a pretty short 4th turn, I healed myself as much as I could, Brad made a big brain play, and then I was just left for dead. I have to say, was not expecting his leader to disengage, jump off the side of a house and take 1 point of damage, and I ended up getting caught in it. I thought this was a pretty good game overall.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun as well. I was pretty happy with how I played, although I think if someone did all the math and figured out the odds, my best bet probably was to pop Gift of Agony and just attack 3 times with my leader. But it ended up working out for me in the end anyway. We're pretty new to Warcry, but we're really liking it so far.
Let us know if this is the type of thing you're into and what other armies you'd like to see on the channel.
Anyway, like we always say, like and subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. We really appreciate all the support, and we're just excited to bring you more stuff coming soon. Peace, y'all. See you next time.